Usually I post one video a day during the week, but today we get two for the price of one as we have a pretty significant trade to talk about between the Peterborough Petes and the Soo Greyhounds. And my understanding is this trade happened pretty quickly as Colin Fitzgerald being traded to the Soo Greyhounds for 6 draft picks. That includes 2 second-round picks, a 2028 from North Bay and a 2029 from Oshawa. So pretty good return here for the Peterborough Petes for a forward in his draft year. And there was a lot of excitement around Colin Fitzgerald. Of course, he was the third overall pick in the 2024 OHL priority selection, although last year injuries became an issue. And this year, a bit of a slower start considering where this Peterborough Petes team is at. Now, when it comes to quotes from general managers, Kyle Raftis saying that knowing that type of player that Colin is and learning he was available, we felt it was important to make this addition. When there's an opportunity to be aggressive for the right player, we want to be able to act. And that just goes to show, I think, how fast this trade came about. And I talked to a couple of different people, and they're thinking this may have been a trade request from Fitzgerald. And remember, Caden Taylor also leaving the Owen Sound or leaving the Peterborough Petes for Owen Sound. That was when he left the team and was waiting for a move. So that's now 2 players leaving the Peterborough Petes. And despite players asking for trades, this Petes team still in a pretty good spot. And it's also fascinating too because my understanding is that the Petes are looking to add. Now, I'm not sure where they're at right now with potential additions because the Brantford Bulldogs have been making some big splashes when it comes to blockbuster deals, with Luchenko being the latest deal. But this is a Peterborough Petes team that's in a pretty good position. If you look at the standings right now, the Petes sit fourth in the Eastern Conference standings. They are 6 points back of Ottawa, the 67s, who have had a fantastic run so far this season, and they're 11 points out of first behind the Brantford Bulldogs. So for the Peterborough Petes, they've missed the playoffs in the last 2 seasons. Their goal is to make the postseason in 2026, and it looks as though this should be a playoff team. Now, for Fitzgerald leaving, it's going to be a bit of a hole to fill here. 24 games this year, but just 6 goals, 7 assists for 13 points. Last year for Fitzgerald, he only appeared in 48 games, 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points. So he hasn't had a full season to show what he's capable of. A little surprised by his slow start this year. I kind of figured Fitzgerald would be one of those key contributors with the Peterborough Petes this season. But now he's going to have a chance to join a Soo Greyhounds team that is looking primed to be a contender in the Western Conference. And for the Greyhounds right now, they're 6th in the Western Conference standings. They have a record of 14-9-1-1, good for 30 points. That puts them 9 points out of first in the Western Conference. The Windsor Spitfires right now holding on to that top spot. And the West is just so competitive. They're right now 1 point back of the London Knights, who are 4th in the conference. And they've got the Kitchener Rangers, who they're tied with. Kitchener right now playing 2 fewer games than the Soo Greyhounds. But Fitzgerald's going to add to this lineup, especially when you've got the likes of Brady Martin, Jeremy Martin, you got Sharon, you've got Travis Hayes. A lot of firepower up front, and I don't think either team is going to be done on the trade front. When you look at the draft picks that are still remaining, for example, the Soo Greyhounds, they have Kingston's second-round pick in 2026 that they could still move to add more pieces. They have their own third and then 2 fourth-round selections, North Bay and Oshawa's. So the draft cupboard looking okay right now for the Greyhounds. Plus, they have Owen Sound's second-round pick in 2027, 3 fourth-round picks in 2027, and then obviously all their regular picks for both 2028 and 2029. So I don't think the Greyhounds are done adding either. There's been a lot of speculation about the Greyhounds looking to add maybe some more veteran pieces and some depth, but getting Fitzgerald here is a big boost. Now, for the Peterborough Petes, like I said, this is a team that wants to make the playoffs in 2026. They don't have a second-round pick for this upcoming OHL draft, but they still have 2 thirds. They have Brampton and Ottawa's third in 2026. No fourth-round picks, then their own fifth, nothing in the 6th round, and then all the way to the 15th, they have the picks. It's when you look at 2027 through to 2029, you have Saginaw's second-round pick for 27, and then 2 thirds. They also have 2 seconds now in 2028, and then 3 third-round picks. And then in 2029, 2 seconds, and then Oshawa's third. So I think for the Petes, next year is probably going to be their go for it year. I know there's some questions about players who are going to return because you've got the whole NCAA situation, players that can go to the American Hockey League a year earlier. So there's still some unknowns when you go into the 26-27 campaign for the Peterborough Petes, but they have the draft capital, and getting these 6 picks from the Soo Greyhounds will help next year with a run, or even just to add maybe another piece or two for this season, just to maybe make sure you get home ice advantage. I think in an ideal world for Peterborough, you want to finish third in the Eastern Conference standings. Then you avoid a potential matchup with the Brantford Bulldogs in the second round of the postseason. So uh, it is, I think, a bit of a shock, this trade for some, that Fitzgerald is going off to Sault Ste. Marie. I think the Greyhounds fans are going to love what he brings. He's going to help with this team's depth. He's going to join them on that road trip this weekend through the West Division. And as for the Peterborough Petes, I don't think the sky is falling now that players like Taylor and Fitzgerald have left the team. I think this team is in a really good spot. The maroon and white, I think uh, they're gonna. I think they're gonna be a team in the top half of the Eastern Conference standings throughout the regular season. They've already shown what they're capable of. They're putting wins together. They're getting those big points when they need it. It's just, I think right now, maybe adding another veteran piece. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But still, a pretty significant trade here between the Peterborough Petes and the Soo Greyhounds. And before we sign off, the signing has been made official. Alexander Karmanov has signed with the North Bay Battalion. The 7-foot-tall defenseman from Moldova will be suiting up with the battalion tonight, and who are actually in Peterborough this evening. So the defense just got bigger for the North Bay Battalion, and we'll see what he's able to do now that he's a part of that organization. Plus, Caden Petrie will be making his debut for the North Bay Battalion tonight when they visit the Peterborough Petes in the PMC. So that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on the trade or even the signing of Karmanov now that it's made official with the North Bay Battalion. Love the interactions. Thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we will talk to you again soon.